Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Monday, November 23rd, 2020 regular meeting of the Town of Easton Planning and Zoning Board. Excuse me. In keeping with the ongoing emergency order from Governor Charlie Baker to limit gatherings and maximize social distancing, and under legislation passed to address remote board meetings during this emergency declaration, this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards a quorum. This meeting will be available on ECAT. While conducting meetings remotely, we will endeavor to keep meeting operations as close to our standard procedures as possible. However, use of this platform will necessitate some additional meeting protocols. While the board members and applicants will be on video and audio, public participants will join the webinar as attendee, meaning they are muted with no video from them. During the public testimony portion of the meeting, members of the public can be recognized by using the raised hand function or making a request with the Q&A function. If you are joining by phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. If an applicant wishes to display materials, please make the request of the chair and email the materials to the board staff for sharing on screen. When sharing testimony, please state your name and address for the record. There are further instructions, if you care to see, which are available on the Planning and Zoning Board agenda on the town's website. So we will start to ensure we have a quorum with a roll call. Strange here.
Shane here.
And I'm here.
Okay, that gives us 3. And I just want to say, if for anyone that's out there, the public hearing or the pre-application public hearing for 20 South Street, the flexible development, is going to be continued to our next meeting. Actually, at the request of the board, as we had a couple members had to drop out for personal reasons at the very last minute today. And we didn't want to start a special permit process without, for flexible development without the whole board here. So anyways, first up, we have a continued site plan review for 50 Spooner Street. Stephanie, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, I think we have a representative. If they could just identify themselves from CDW.
Yeah, hi, it's Eric Williamson with CDW Consultants.
Hi,
I think
Eric.
you should turn on Dan Coley as well.
I don't, oh, he just joined us. I didn't see him earlier, just a minute ago.
And there might be a few others he'll suggest.
Right.
As well.
So just quickly, the board was waiting for final review from Woodard and Curran, and they're concurrent that the project complies with stormwater management standards. And I understand from talking with Andrea Langhauser internally in our office, as well as from communications from Eric, that the project does meet the stormwater management standards. And I believe that was the last item that we needed, that the board was waiting for.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. It's we had a Conservation Commission hearing. We finalized all the drainage issues, and they also voted to approve the project.
So this is a site plan review, and the board's role is to vote to approve or not the site plan review, the site plan application.
Well, if any board member has any questions or comments or cares to make a motion, I'll entertain.
Motion to approve the site plan as presented.
Second.
That's a second by Shane, motion by Kedem. Any further discussion? Let's see, do we see any hands raised? I don't. Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor? Strange, aye.
Kedem, aye.
It was a photo finish, but I think we had all 3, so that's unanimous. Thank you for coming out tonight, folks. Short and sweet. Have a nice Thanksgiving. Good luck with the project.
You too. Take care.
Stay safe.
Next, 58 Mill Street. I need someone to make a motion to continue this to our next meeting.
Motion to continue 58 Mill Street to the next meeting,
Which is
Second.
December 14th.
December 14th.
I heard us with the second. Any further discussion? Nothing from the audience. All those in favor, strange eye.
Shane, aye.
Aye.
Great. Same thing for 560 Foundry Street, Sawmill Village. We received a request to continue to December 14th.
Motion to continue 560 Foundry Street, Sawmill Village to December 14th.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor, strange eye.
Shane, aye.
Kevin, aye.
Very good. Next, we have a public hearing for a duplex, application number 20-211 for 300 Foundry Street. Peter, did you get the notice?
I have the notice on my phone.
The floor
Town
is
of Easton notice of public hearing. In accordance with the provisions of Chapter 41, Section 81T MGL, the Easton Planning and Zoning Board will hold a public hearing on November 23rd, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. to be held remotely on the application received from Brockton Area Multi-Services for a special permit duplex dwelling under Town Code Chapter 235 zoning, Attachment 1, Appendix A, Table of Use Regulations, A2, to allow the creation of a duplex dwelling located at 300 Foundry Street, Easton, Massachusetts, Assessor's Lot Map 16R, Lot 97. This meeting will be conducted remotely via Zoom. The virtual meeting link will be contained within the posted agenda at least 48 hours in advance of the meeting. A copy of the application and plan may be viewed on the town website. This notice is also available at masspublicnotices.org. Gregory Strange, Chair.
Thank you, Peter. So I just want to put on the record to the public and to the applicant that due to the fact that we only have 3 members tonight, while that is a quorum for the board, it is not a voting quorum or sufficient number to vote on a special permit. So we will have to continue this after whatever is presented to our next meeting. The applicant was made aware of this today and given the opportunity to push to the next meeting, but they requested that we open the meeting. So with that, is there someone presenting?
I thought Walter Hermano was supposed to be joining us this evening, but I don't see him. Would one of the Palucci's like to comment? They are the project proponents. And you'll need to unmute yourselves.
Hi, this is Joe Palucci. Yes, Walter should have logged in. It seems like the first few applicants went pretty quickly, so maybe he's just not at that point yet. This is for a special permit for the ABI group home that was in response to the town's RFP back in 2018. So I believe he submitted all the information. I'm not sure if he was planning on speaking tonight or since it was the town's RFP, if they were going to present.
I mean, again, my understanding from talking with Walter earlier was that they were going to present. Greg, do you want to skip to the
I was
Norfolk?
going to say, if that's the case, why don't we just keep
Yeah.
this open? Why don't we jump ahead to the A&R?
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, so Joe, why don't you just mute yourself? I'm not going to ask that you drop off and we'll wait and see, but we're going to go on, as Greg just said, to the A&R for 44 Norfolk Avenue.
Okay.
And I will bring that up and share my screen. Okay, can everybody see the plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
I can. I shouldn't answer for everybody.
Yes.
So this is pretty straightforward. They're looking to divide this parcel of land at 44 Norfolk Avenue into Lot A, which would be a new lot, and Lot B, which would be an existing developed lot. There's an existing building on the site. In looking at it, it looks like, because you have the corner lot right here, and this looks like, this is how the building fronts Norfolk Avenue. So this would be a side lot that meets the setback requirements. The front lot meets the front setback requirements, but the rear, my interpretation would be that these are rear lots, which I believe is 50 feet, a 50-foot setback. I'm sorry, 40-foot setback. So this existing building currently doesn't meet the setback requirements, and it would, of course, continue not to meet the setback requirements. So the board should endorse the plan. I do think that we should ask that they, or we can put the notation on the plan that endorsement does not indicate compliance with zoning dimensional requirements.
So you're calling the rear lot line the one that runs north to south on the east side, right? Is that where you're?
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
Yes.
Yeah, this probably make, I mean, we can certainly vote on this, but just you have them add that note and you administratively handle it, I would think. Board members, any questions or comments?
What is it? I have a question. What is the reason for lot A, I think it's A, to have that weird shape with a very narrow passage in the back there?
I think it's to get the full 40,000 square
Okay,
feet.
it's to add the footage. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to use that.
And because of the shape of this building, that looks like, and the need to keep this a
Access.
conforming lot from the square footage.
Peter, you have any questions, comments?
No, I mean, as long as, I guess the existing building on the new size lot, didn't exceed any, impermeable area kind of type regulations.
No.
Looks,
Yeah.
try to look at my satellite. Yeah, so the lots, I mean, it's basically more or less paved with some landscaping, but then on that southern side, there are some trees, but similar to the whole entire park. So no, I have no questions.
Would someone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to endorse the A&R plan with the note that it does not, that the lot would still be subject to zoning regulations.
Second.
Any further discussion? I don't see any hands raised online. Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Strange, aye.
Shane, aye.
Kevin, aye.
That passes 3-0. Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome. And I see Walter is now, he has joined us and I've made him a panelist. And there's someone named John O'Donnell. If you could raise your hand if you're with the applicant for 300 Foundry Street. Okay. Okay, well, Mr. O'Donnell has not raised his hand, so.
Okay. Walter, are you there?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chair. Good evening.
Good evening. So just while you were not here, we read in the We read in the notice, and then I just commented, which I'm pretty sure you assume you're aware that we only have 3 members tonight, so we will have to continue. We won't be able to vote
Yes, understood.
on
Thank
this.
you.
Okay, so the floor is yours.
And Walter, I can share my screen with the plans, or you can share your screen if you want to go through it. It's up to you.
Your screen's fine, Stephanie. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, what we have before you, and just to be clear, we're talking the special permit for the duplex, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, first of all, Walter Hermano, PE. I'm here tonight representing Frank Ryblin, Ryblin Land Surveyors, filling in for Frank. And the applicants have proposed a site plan before you, which a little bit of background, we've initiated the conservation process. We've been also in touch and in the process with Natural Heritage. There's been a lot of preparation and legwork done on the project so far. We have worked with the town. We've had a good relationship in putting this project together to this point right now. The applicant is the town for this project, and the owner is currently BAMSI. And the project entails the development of a duplex 8-bedroom unit. And this is for clientele of BAMSI. And as Stephanie has made mention inside of her staff report, she's spot on that the building is going to be living space for group housing for intellectually disabled individuals with acquired brain injuries. This is affordable housing that the town desperately needs. The town had put this forth a couple of years ago before the people, and it was voted that affordable housing would seek out projects like this, I believe. I forget the exact steps. Some of this predates me. But what we have is a full site plan developed with minimal impact. We have minimized the footprint of the project as much as possible. There exists, excuse me, my security system just went off. So the existing conditions are such that we have multiple wetlands areas. I'm gonna pause it.
Did anybody else lose audio?
He muted himself. Walter muted himself, I think to quiet the dog.
Yeah, there's always something interesting.
Cheap alarm system.
My apologies for that interruption. Okay, so where were we? We have an existing parcel that is a former land owned by the town and sold to BAMSI. There are numerous delineated wetlands on the project, which we are seeking acceptance by the town Conservation Commission. We have an ideal location in the middle of the project. The applicant has proposed the area that's most suitable and just for one building. Overall, the total acreage on the property is more than 15, and the uplands is substantial, more than 8 acres of uplands. What the applicant would like to do here is proposing a driveway that meets the fire department standards for width, coming right off of Foundry Street. It's set back about 300 feet in the middle of this project. We're no nearer to property lines and possibly 120 feet from the development. Any area that you see outside of the siltation control will remain untouched. And we have, as part of this project, proposed and tentatively agreed acceptance by Natural Heritage to have a substantial portion of this deeded in fee to the town as conservation land. We are awaiting confirmation from Natural Heritage if they will accept one minor line change that you see proposed on the plan. It's on the left side of the plan.
Oops.
If we could go back up to the plan
I'm
for a
moving
minute.
to the A&R plan.
Maybe first.
No. Right here.
Thank you so much. So the line on the left of the plan for lot 1, we tried to make it as straight as possible. This was modified to include a replication area inside lot 1. So the replication area would be maintained under the control of the owner of lot 1, which would be BMZ going forward. The remaining lot 2 is the substantial acre of the parcel, which is over 12 acres, and continuous upland of over 7 acres. And the conservation plan, a separate plan to this, is under preparation. It's being revised, and I have to get that over to Natural Heritage. That'll be done this week. Hopefully, Natural Heritage has already seen tentatively this layout in a sketch form. So I'm hoping that they take this under consideration and still have the same opinion on the project, that they would find a net benefit to the project because of the donation of the land and other features on the project. If you could go to the site plan, Stephanie, please. I'll try to keep this brief. Yes, that sheet, thank you. We have an improved culvert crossing right after the construction entrance. Currently, there's 2 drain pipes, and what is proposed is a 4-foot tall by 10-foot wide concrete culvert that will more than adequately convey any water underneath from the wetlands area on the right to the wetlands area on the left. The 2 wetlands areas are essentially connected. I've defined them as 2 points only so I could study the culvert to be sure that it's more than adequate, and it is truly more than adequate. It has daylight catch basins on the top. It meets the opening requirements of the stream crossing standards. And Natural Heritage liked it especially because it was very large and it could convey not just water, but also allow for migration and movement of wildlife habitat. Other features of this project, we met the stormwater management standards that are enforceable under the town bylaw for both TSS and peak rate of flow from the project. In the beginning, there are no impervious areas on this site, and with the stormwater management system that we've shown here between a bioretention cell up on the high point nearest the parking spaces, there's a grass swale, then there's a secondary bioretention cell, and we have a constructed wetlands. Between all those features, we will be able to comply with the stormwater management standards of the town bylaw. The building itself is a nice shaped building. The plans have already been submitted, uploaded to the town. Excuse me. We've tried to limit the amount of fill necessary for the project, only that which would be necessary for the project. We have a septic system that's going to be a raised septic system off to the left side of the building. The area has already been percolated and tested, and that size system will support the 8 bedrooms that are proposed. This driveway has a hammerhead turn between the end of the driveway and the building as to accommodate fire and other emergency response vehicles to turn around safely. There are a total of 16 parking spaces, 4 of which are handicap van accessible, 2 on either side of the building. Each of these lead directly to the entrances for the building. That pretty much wraps up the site development. We have included areas for snow removal. We have areas for temporary stockpiles of soil. Those can be managed and moved around a little bit if the board so wishes. The developers of the project, Global Property Services, I think that they might be online tonight too for the meeting. Very good outfit. They worked for BAMSI and with the town here to get this project through the permitting phase and hopefully into construction. as soon as possible. What else would the town like to know at this point? Items that I might have missed that we have to include in the plan. The building will be sprinklered, and that'll be through a 2-inch main. That'll be shown and added to the plan. We have a 1-inch domestic line that will also be added to the plan. As I've said, the sewage, it takes care of the on-site septic issues, and there will also be underground electricity and telecommunications and a natural gas line coming from Foundry Street. I'm going to pause right now and ask if anyone has any questions. I'd be more than glad to comment.
Board members, any questions?
I briefly read the material, and I think it's mentioned, but if you can clarify the proximity of this location to the landfill and possible contamination. Is that something that is a problem?
I'm unaware of any landfill contamination that might be on the subject lot. I am aware of a capped landfill as being one of the abutters to the south. I have dug numerous test pits on the property, and I can speak for that I've not observed any oil or hazardous materials. They all appear to be natural virgin conditions.
So again, Amos, you can see this is the landfill here. It's on the southwestern side. And to the best of my knowledge, there has not been contamination reported here. I know the Palucci's are on the call. I don't know if they were required to do an environmental site assessment as part of their financing. Frequently that is required. If Joe or Jim could respond.
No, that was not required, so that was not done. But we were not aware of any, as Walter said, any negative impact on the property.
And Amos, there was some history with this when they first capped the landfill. It wasn't done properly and they had to recap it, and there was a lot of work done. So I think if there were any contamination that was seeping out, it would have been identified at that time. And that was probably about over 14 years ago.
Yeah, I remember. I was here.
Oh,
that's
okay.
That's the reason I'm asking, because there were issues. And
Yeah.
I don't know the details. So the special permit is because of the deviance issues with the environmental issues related to this property and the wetlands and all the rest of the natural heritage, or is also the usage of this?
It's special permit because it's a duplex. That's a special permit through the planning board.
What about usage? I'm trying to figure out on the table of use and regulations that we have, that's Appendix A of the bylaws, if this usage is listed, and not really, you cannot identify this usage there. So it's considered residential? What is exactly this is considered?
This is a residential district.
No, I know that. But the usage is not residential, not really.
This is a duplex group home. It's a two-family group home.
If I could add one more point regarding
go right ahead.
Matter of contamination from a landfill. Hydrogeologically, if you understand which way water flows across this property, I have not done a 20-winning on this site, nor have I been asked to, and I don't think there is a need. But if you look at which way groundwater, shallow groundwater flows across the site and the area, I do believe that the intermittent streams separating the landfill and the subject site indicates, groundwater flows to the easterly direction. So if there are any issues there, sir, I don't believe that they would be flowing onto the subject site. That's what I'm trying to say.
Is this house going to have a basement?
No, it's not. If you look at the plans, it's on grade.
Okay, so that will be a water issue.
And to Stephanie's earlier point, if you go back, 20 years or so when this was an issue with the improper original capping, there was extensive testing done, around the perimeter to make sure.
Right, and
situation
DEP had to,
mitigated.
yeah, and DEP also had to weigh in and
Right.
approve the solar fields,
Correct.
the placement of the solar fields on the landfill.
So Stephanie, so I was
Yep.
looking at your staff report earlier
Yep.
this week, and on here you had put the board asked the applicant to consider a different configuration of the proposed structure to
That-
provide more relief and visual interest. When did we decide? When was
No,
this?
this,
Or is this a cut and paste thing?
it was a cut and paste thing, and what's really yes, that was an error.
No,
That's
that's
an
fine.
error.
I was losing my mind going, when did we see that? I mean,
I was talking with Walter today, and I was looking at the report, and I looked at that, and I said, yes.
No. And
Yes,
I was going to
really.
say, it's nice to see. I take a little pride in seeing this project come forward. I'm not sure. This was originally the history of this site. This was purchased originally by the town for hope to use it as soccer fields or play fields, and then clearly once, yeah, well, maybe during due diligence, I guess prior to the purchase, no one realized, given the wetlands and the issues, it really didn't work out. So there was a few of us on boards, planning boards and CPA, and we said, why doesn't the town, do this? We should sell this, develop this. And there was under one of Stephanie's predecessors, probably three terms back, the town had looked to put in maybe we didn't have flexible development at the time, but to put in some alternative residential uses here, but it was actually denied by one member of our board. So this has kind of been in limbo, but Wayne Beitler and a few others in town have been working hard to get what I think it's a good use. We always talk about diversified housing, and not everybody's as lucky as us, right? So this is a nice project, and then the fact that we'll get some conservation land added pretty well. I think it works pretty well.
I agree, Greg. This is a win-win. You get
Yeah.
space,
Yeah.
you get the additional percentage of affordable housing, and a good use for that is inside. It's not being seen from the road even. So from that point of view, it's
Sure.
good use of the land.
It's a well thought out plan. So, Mr. Hermano, is there some kind of like open yard space around the building for the residents to enjoy or walk around?
There is some green space around the building. There is no, recreational area proposed, but there is a concrete patio behind the building that's proposed so they can come out and enjoy the nice weather. Essentially, any area that you see on the plan around the septic system and between the building and just behind the building, not quite to the property line, but there will be some grassed areas that they can come out and enjoy. Quite a peaceful site. There's a lot of preservation for this project, and I think that they'll be able to enjoy Mother Nature on the outside of the building. Yes.
And Walter, forgive me if you said this, but I'm just curious, where are you at with conservation in the approval process?
Mr. Chair, we're in the notice of intent process. We've had our initial hearing. It's been continued. We are through a stormwater review right now, nearing completion. I'm working with Woodard and Curran on that. They are to receive shortly a revised stormwater management report and plan, which will show some additional measures, because conservation had a little bit of a concern about additional water that was flowing towards the landfill on a wetlands area at the rear of the property. Unavoidable to a certain extent because we've elevated the site and we put down increased slopes due to the septic system and a minor concrete pad. So the revision is going to show that the concrete pad will drain off into a stone diaphragm, if you would, with Caltech units underneath it for storage. So we'll be able to pick up all the runoff that comes off of that concrete pad behind the building. There still will be a little bit of an increase of water flows in that direction, only because we're changing the the landscaping from a wooded, heavily vegetated lot to that small portion will be grassed. So we're going to have a little bit of additional runoff. But in totality, the drainage points, if we add them all up, we will see what my report will prove and document is that the water flowing off the site is less post-development than it is pre-development. And that's the major crux of the stormwater management standards in the town bylaw.
So do you anticipate, I know maybe this is hard to answer, but do you anticipate any substantial changes to the plan resulting from the Conservation Commission process?
I do not. I do not. There is almost no additional area to work with to put in any additional stormwater features. And we are meeting all of the standards right now and then some. So.
Gotcha. So Stephanie, how are we going? I know obviously we're not going to vote tonight, given the number of members. Would we kind of slow walk this and wait till conservation wraps up, or?
Yes, and it really at this point, it's just finalizing that small aspect of the stormwater management. I know Walter was going to be talking with Woodard and Curran today. I don't know where that led to. And then they need approval from Natural Heritage with the shift in the lot lines. What's happening, although the area protected really remains the same, it's the ownership of that land. There's 1 acre of land that, based on the modification of the lot line, is now part of the BMZ site and not part of the land that will be conveyed to the Conservation Commission, even though that's 12 acres. And the additional acre that's being added to the BMZ site is protected just by nature of the land itself. Further, both boards could, in their decisions, restrict any future development of the site to provide an extra level of protection. So I'm guessing, based on my conversations with Walter, that Natural Heritage will probably be fine with the change, that I didn't consider it not really consequential.
That's correct, Stephanie. That is my hope. I have not yet heard back from Natural Heritage. I have heard that they can be at many times understaffed and overworked. So
yeah,
do hope we get a response from them soon. But we do have before them a conservation and management permit that showed the previous lot line, and I'm trying to get the revised plan to them ASAP so they can take the design that you see before you with these property lines under consideration.
Yeah, and it sounds like from talking with Andrea Langhauser that the Conservation Commission isn't looking for something else there. That those are the outstanding items.
Yeah. It's a well thought out plan, as I began to say in the beginning, and kudos to Andrea, because we've been working with her since the beginning of the project, pre-submittal. So we have a good idea what the town's expectations are and trying to put our best foot forward here.
Great, appreciate it. So I think at this point, we might as well continue to our next meeting, I guess, and then we can decide whether we continue that one as well. Stephanie?
Mm-hmm. And that would be December 14th.
To the 14th.
Was that a motion, Peter?
It was.
All right. Hamas? Oh, I think he muted himself.
I was muted.
Happens to the best of us. Was that a second?
Second, yes.
All right. All those in favor of continuing to the 14th, Strange eye.
Shane, aye.
Kevin, aye.
Great. Thank you, Walter.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
nice Thanksgiving.
Yes, you too.
All right.
And as a safe Thanksgiving. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay, board business 2021 Planning and Zoning Board meeting schedule.
So that went out in the binder. Of course, it's that time of year when we need to set the schedule for next year's meetings. And as most of you know by now, we usually have to wait. It's not so much anymore for the room, or maybe we'll be back in the Colleen Corona room again sometime in 2021. But it's really to try to offset the planning board meetings with the select board meetings. And we're pretty successful in most cases, and certainly where it matters the most. Usually it's just before town meeting, leading up to town meeting, those months where Greg and or I need to attend select board meetings. So
Yes,
we just have people-
I like it. There's not that many Tuesdays this year. So that's good.
Yeah.
We were struggling for a couple of years. I'm glad to see my lobbying paid off, and we got our Mondays back.
So see, January 4th, that could possibly be a low attendance, night for people ahead. I'm suppose if I happen to be in Maine skiing, I could attend remotely.
I don't think we care where you are while we're doing Zoom. meetings.
Let's hope there's some snow early in January. We don't seem to have that.
Just the way things work out, sometimes the 4th might not be the best day, but we can keep it open.
Yeah, we'll see.
Otherwise, it looks like
I don't think we're going to have a very busy schedule early on.
Doesn't look like we're have a meeting over the February school vacation this time around. So that's usually, I think that's the 3rd week in February. So that's good.
Yeah, and February 14th doesn't matter much to the board anymore, right?
That's right. Wayne had his chance. The love doctor has left the building. And there's finally not one on my birthday. There's always one on my birthday. So yeah, it looks fine.
Oh, but there's one on my birthday.
Which is? Oh, you don't want to say.
March 15th. It was the day
Really?
before everything got locked
The
down.
Ides of March. That was my brother. That was my brother's birthday. Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Interesting. No, I really want to say what year, but I know you don't want to do that. So
I was going to ask you what year your brother was born.
he was born in 1960.
Oh, he was a little younger than I am.
Unfortunately, left us in 99, so before his time. But anyways, I digress. So do we need you guys okay with this schedule? Do we vote on this?
It never hurts. It's not necessarily a binding vote, but it doesn't hurt to vote on it.
Gentlemen, are you okay voting on this the way as pictured? You good?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2000 end of 2020 and 2021 meeting schedule.
Second.
All those in favor, strange eye.
Shane, aye.
Kevin, aye.
That was easy. All right. Subdivision rules and regs. Want to put this as off till the next when we have everybody?
Well, this was just to start the conversation about when the board wants to get started. Greg, you had suggested this be something that the board work on this year. We've been talking.
Yeah, I
about
actually had, and I think I'd rather talk about this when we have more people. But yeah, I'd actually started working on this a little bit. Started with the design guidelines for Furnace Village District, but then I also started a list of a bunch of things that we could tweak, need to be tweaked, need to be moved, need to be edited. And I reached out to Deb at one point to see if she was interested in helping me write some design guidelines, given her architectural background, and she was very excited. And then, of course, I was going to reach out to the master of the proofread to see if he would jump on board with me. That would be our clerk, Peter. But now the surprise is ruined because I haven't asked him yet, so I guess I'm asking him publicly on TV. Because I thought sometimes it works best. We do some quick stuff almost in I don't think we have to call it a subcommittee if it's just a couple members, but we can bang out some stuff and then get it to the board. Better than trying to wordsmith it with 7 people on a Zoom meeting.
Yep.
So Peter,
So
I'll be
that-
hitting you up pretty soon.
All
Couple
right.
more
think
weeks.
that really-
I gotta get through a bunch of deadlines and then, would that interest you, young man?
Sure.
Cool. Meeting minutes.
You can pass it by me too, Greg.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mean to leave you out, Les, forgive me. Well,
Next time.
meeting minutes. This was the last meeting I was not at.
Hmm.
So I will abstain. We can have two people vote on them, right? We don't need, just need a simple majority of who's, or do I need to vote just so we have three?
You can vote. You're just voting to accept.
Right, yeah, so I'll vote just so we
Yeah, I
know.
think we need 3 out of 5 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll vote,
think
that's
you
fine,
do.
I'll vote.
Well, I looked them over quickly and make a motion to approve the minutes from November 9th.
Second,
All those in favor, strange eye.
Shane, aye.
Kevin,
Cool, all right, well, that wraps this up. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody in Easton have a great Thanksgiving.
you
Stay
too.
safe, and we'll see y'all back. Oh, and don't forget, special town meeting. That's right, special town meeting on November 30th at Stonehill College at 7, Stephanie?
Yes.
7 p.m. All of our zoning articles will be going before, so hopefully our board members that can make it will be in attendance. And folks, if you have any interest or any questions regarding the zoning that we are proposing, you can go on to ECAT or ecat.com, and there's a little zoning special that Stephanie and I put together with Jason a few weeks back. So anyways, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. And who wants to bring us home?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Strange eye.
Shane, aye.
Kevin,
All right. Thank you all.
And
Good
Greg.
night, planning board. Good night, Stephanie. Stephanie, I'll
We'll
talk to you
talk
tomorrow
tomorrow?
morning. Yeah, 1
Yep.
o'clock.
Okay.
Good night, Easton. Good night, ECAT.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanks,
Good
you
night.
too.
yeah.
Right.